It is your Classic Metal Show right here on theclassicmetalshow.com. That is a brand new band called Dirty Shirley. The name of that song is The Voice of a Soul. It is from the album also known as Dirty Shirley, and on the line right now is the vocalist of that band. You might know him from Animal Drive as well. The one, the only, Dino Jelusick. Dino, how are you, sir?
What's up? I'm doing great. You?
I'm good, man. It's good to finally talk to you, man. I was a big fan of the first Animal Drive record, but I didn't actually discover it until after you had already kind of done your press run for it. And you'll appreciate this. I actually discovered it. I was interviewing Jeff Scott Soto, and him and I sort of are friends. And he at the end of the interview, he's like, "Hey, have you heard this band, Animal Drive?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Oh man, you got to check it out. You got to check it out." And sure enough, I checked it out, and then I fell in love with the record, man. So you have one cheerleader out there in Mr. Soto, that's for sure.
Yeah, Jeff is my best buddy. So yeah, I'm grateful for him, and he got us that record deal, and rest is history. Now we have Dirty Shirley and Animal Drive. I delivered the new record today.
Oh, cool.
And our label director said, "Wow," because this album it's kind of more developed. I had 2 years to write songs, and the influence on this new one are, from Elton John to Pantera. So you can expect a lot from this record. There's Dio influence, there's Korn influence, there's everything on this album. So, we worked on it. But before we started working on it, I had about 6 months to do Dirty Shirley with George.
Sure.
And that was very interesting way of working, because he was in LA, I was here, and everything was done by email. We never really met in person.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool.
Have you met him yet in person, or still you haven't met him in person?
I just told my dad I was supposed to be at NAMM right now.
Okay.
But I had to go back home to finish this second Animal Drive record, and I have another 2 records that I have to finish by the end of January. One is for Lords of Black, the band where Ronnie Romero used to sing. I'm going to do a couple of songs on that album as a guest. And I'm doing an album with a very famous drummer that I'm not allowed to say who he is.
Okay.
And so it's me, him, a very famous guitar player. My guitar player from Animal Drive plays rhythm guitars and riffs and fills. And also a very well-known bass player. So that's like a new project, solo thing from that drummer. It's going to be out probably early fall. You'll find out who we talk about. He's in like top 5 drummers right now in the world.
Oh, cool.
So I have that. And so that's the reason why I had to go back from the States, on January 1st. I was supposed to be jamming with Gus in Whiskey, with Glenn Sobel from Alice Cooper Band in Lucky Strike. I would probably sing on a Dime Bash too, and I would probably play with George, because he's doing the jam too.
Well,
yeah. So yeah,
it's got to be great for you, Dino, that people, even though I'm sure you've been doing this for a long time, but now that you've gotten a little bit of music out there, it's got to be really fulfilling to you that so many people want to work with you just based on hearing your voice.
I really am grateful. Things since I joined TSO, you gotta make your own opportunities. That's what I always said, because there's a lot of people that I know that have been doing this for a long time, and they haven't really moved a lot. And when I look at what I've done since I joined TSO up until now, getting all these contacts with my idols, hooking up with Doug Aldrich and George Lynch and Gus G and Mike Mangini, Phil DeMille, Mike Portnoy, it's Dave Ellefson from Megadeth, it's really, my soul is fed knowing that, I did something that nobody from this area ever did. So, but I feel like this is just the beginning, because only this year I'm going to be on 6 records, and I wrote 4 records from those 6, record, wrote songs, played keyboards, because for the Lynch album, he sent me very raw stuff, and I did all the keyboards, all the melodies. Then I told him, do this. Let's make the song better. Let's cut this part. There's a lot more than singing that I do for all these bands and projects.
Sure.
But yeah, it's great seeing all these all these great musicians giving me attention. I can't be more grateful that I am.
Am I wrong in thinking that you also are a production guy and you did the production on the Dirty Shirley record?
Alessandro Del Vecchio, he does most of the Frontiers records. He's the one that mixed and mastered the album. But I did, took the drums and said, this part doesn't work. Let's put this groove on chorus. It's going to sound better with it. Let's do this guitar like this. I'm the one that's mixing my vocals. But, producing is not only mixing and mastering. It's, getting the sounds right. Getting the arrangements right, putting in little stuff that makes song, grow. And that's what I did for this album with George. Alessandro did a great job mixing and mastering stuff. He was very patient because I'm really hard to work with. I'm not going to let any album out before it's, perfect. So because, once the album is out, it's out. You can't erase it. You're going to go back and think, why didn't I change this? I like to have things done before it's out.
Sure. Now, yeah. Dino, with Dirty Shirley, the songs go through a lot of different styles, which, as you were saying with other projects you're doing, are that way as well. Is that just the product of you having a vast musical taste, more or less, that you're not necessarily only a rock singer? I mean, obviously you do TSO, and that's almost operatic in some parts, and obviously Animal Drive is very rock, and this is kind of more groove laden. If I was going to put a label on it, but it just seems like you explore a lot of different styles.
I do. What's the thing? The audience, the audience that doesn't know, they kind of have a problem with that. It's since I was a kid, I was listening to a lot of different music. I'm looking at my shelf right now, and you can see from Michael Bolton to King Zix to Gojira to Whitesnake to Judas Priest to John Mayer, and when you put all that together, ta-da! You get the mess. So. Well, Dirty Shirley, the thing is, George is really his songwriting is not in the box. That's what I really love. Mm-hmm. The first song he sent me as a demo was Dirty Blues, right?
Okay.
So I thought, okay, so this might be kind of extreme Van Halen, early Lynch Mob kind of thing. So I did vocals. He was like, wow, looking forward to send you another song. The second one was Dying, which is. He said, if you can sing more like Justin Timberlake on this one. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's explore. Third one he sent me was Here Comes the King. The working title was, as soon as riff, I said, this is going to be the first single. It's going to be our Black Sabbath song, and this one needs to open the album. Then he sent me Siren Song, which was kind of weird. You can't even put any label on that song. It has kind of twangy guitars, and it's kind of poppy, but it's rock, but it's alternative. All of a sudden I Disappear. That song was called Four Finger Injury as a demo.
Okay.
And I told Georgie, I said, if you can get Doug Pinnick to play bass on this song, and I would love to have him singing with me on this song. But he never got Doug. I don't know why.
Right.
And that song is quite different from the rest. That song is more metal.
Sure.
It's different. It was not well received from the fans, but I like it personally. My favorite songs on the record are songs that would never be singles. Grandmaster as a acoustic grunge song, and then you have my favorite and George's favorite song on the album. Is a digital bonus track song. It's called Higher, but not the album version. The version that's gonna come out as a bonus track. That's the original version that Frontiers said, hell no, we're not putting this out. This is way too weird. Because the song is, once I heard the instrumental part, I said, we got to do something different with this. And so I did the orchestra, and the first part of the song is more like sexy bluesy.
Okay.
Chorus is very Ray Gillan type of thing. And then you get the last part of the song where everything becomes epic. It's metal, it's 7-string guitars, it's choirs, and then it goes back to chorus. So, Serafino probably had a headache when he heard that. That's why it never ended up on the record. But artistically, it's my favorite song. I love Escalator. It's very, dirty bluesy kind of stuff. I think it's a very decent record.
Oh, it is. And it's funny, you're naming all these songs, and you didn't name the one that is my favorite, which is the one that we opened this with, the Voice of a Soul, just because I love the way you do such different things with your voice, and obviously the play out of George at the end of the song is amazing. Just such a great song.
You're right. I love the song. I didn't mention a couple of songs. There's let me see. There's Cold, funky, but still very Soundgarden. There's Last Man Standing, which was my least favorite song, but now I really like it. It's very cult. The Voice of a Soul is, I call it Paul Rogers' song because it's very Bad Company.
Sure.
And I was trying to get that kind of timbre in that song. The thing is, when he sent me the 7 minutes of it was very repetitive, so we had to cut a few parts, and I was trying to get the chorus. I was writing all the songs while I was on tour, and I really love that song. The problem is I probably listened to that album over and over, and I'm just fed up right now. It's gonna take a while for me to put it up again, but that's a great song. A lot of people told me that's their favorite song, so you are right.
Nice. Well, well, Dino, what is Dirty Shirley for you? Is it a band? Is it a project? Is it just? I mean, will there be more of these records? Will there ever be shows? I mean, where does it fit for you?
I never do projects. That let's do this and let's just. And so I have no idea what's going to happen in the future, but I really approached this album and this project, band, whatever it is, like seriously. I didn't want to do anything at that point. I said, okay, I'm going to stop writing for Animal Drive. I got to give 100% for this album first. Once I'm done with this, we can head over to Animal Drive, and I've worked on that album for 2 years, and I stopped working for 5 months so I can really put myself into Dirty Shirley. There are some really badass and deep lyrics on this album. Okay. That it's going to take a while to kind of refresh from that. I wanted to play live shows. I wanted to stay in Los Angeles for NAMM, and I told George, if you want, we can do some LA gigs. We can do San Francisco. We can do Tucson, Las Vegas. But he said that he's too busy with Lynch Mob.
Sure.
We'll hunt plays for Evanescence and for Slaughter. So it was probably too hard to get all of us to play a show. If we see that this album is received well, I would love to do live shows for this. Then it would be a band. For now it's still a project because nobody knows what's going to happen after this. If we don't do any more albums, it's probably going to remain as a project.
Okay, fair enough, man. Well, as we said, the name of the album is Dirty Shirley. That is the name of the band as well. And Dino, as a tradition on the show, we always close the interview by letting the artist pick a song from the record, maybe tell us a quick story about it. So what would you like us to end the interview with?
That's a good question. Maybe you should end this. You should end this interview. I'm not sure what's the real name of this song because we changed the time. Is it Time Machine or Cold?
But Cold.
What's the name?
Cold.
It's Cold. Oh, thank God. Because Animal Drive has a song called Time Machine, and George wanted to. Yeah, we should end the song with a song called Cold. That song was one of the songs that were not supposed to be on the album because Frontiers thought that verses are too alternative, but we ended up putting that song on the record. I love the lyrics, and I think the chorus is very Chris Cornell kind of. I love the song. I think you should play that song. It's groovy and it's catchy, and it has different layers into it. So I think you should play that one.
All right, well, let's do it right now. This is Dirty Shirley.
Cool.
This is Cold right here on your Classic Metal Show.